welcome to the Motown Show. I'm Srishti Sharma, and like we told you in the last edition, that is going to be an exciting month for the Indian markets because there are so many new launches that are lined up, and today we are at one such event. We are celebrating Yamaha's 70th year anniversary with a 40-year plus presence in the Indian markets. And that's not it. At this momentous achievement, Yamaha Motor India has come out with their revamped product strategy, where they have announced that they're going to be launching more than 10 products in the Indian markets with 20 plus model upgrades by the end of 2026. We are at the launch where Yamaha Motor has also announced their foray into the electric two-wheeler category. That space, which of late has become quite competitive because from listed to unlisted players, it's all about the market share, and the race is quite straight right there. But what is Yamaha's plan into that? What is that they are looking forward to with respect to market share? How are they planning their overall product strategy? To discuss all of that, let's take the discussion forward with the management itself. We have Mr. Ravinder Singh with us, who has spent more than 3 decades at Yamaha Motor India. So who better than you, sir? And firstly, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And I believe that it's going to be an exciting one for Yamaha Motor India. Before we deep dive into what new launches that you have made, why don't you tell us what's in store for the end of 2026? So many big plans there.
Yeah, definitely. I think India is a very important market for Yamaha. And being a young country, it is matching to the philosophy of Yamaha. We as a young brand, we are having a racing DNA, which is matching to the youngsters. So that's why today is a very important day for us. We made 4 launches and many more in pipeline for the next year. More excitement is available. So today we are going to launch a first EV 2 scooters in India, which is one is from the performance side, another from the more on the practical side. But on the other side, we have launched a much awaited XSR, which is a kind of a modern retro classic vehicle on 155cc engine based. So these are the launches, and another we have done the update for FZ Rev, which is again focusing on the youngsters. We have made more better styling from the all feature point of view. So we hope all youngsters will be more excited after receiving all these 4 new launches today what we made.
Indeed, we can see all those 4 offerings over there, but I believe it's going to be 10 new launches by the end of 2026, and 20 plus model upgrades is what you are planning. So 4 are done. I think 1 was done before. When are we expecting the next one?
So as we said during the presentation, there are many things in pipeline, but we will go one by one, and then we will let the customer digest, and then and we have to prepare our dealership also to take care of the new weapons. So today is the day. Then you will keep on seeing those surprises from Yamaha next year.
Okay, so let's start talking about what we see today. Yamaha entering into the EV category. That's exciting indeed, because yes, you get that Yamaha DNA with you. But the other thing I wanted to really start with is, don't you feel that you are a bit late entering into the EV market? Your thoughts on this, because you must agree that there are so many players now, and especially in the top 5 to 6 players, there's now that rat race of who wins more market share.
As we know, Yamaha philosophy is not the numbers. We are always going the quality. Especially from the EV, there are many quality parameters we have to see. And this is the first offering from Yamaha in India, where the collaboration with our engineer at headquarters at YMC and our Indian engineers. This is the output of collaboration of both Japanese and Indian engineers. The first Aerox E we have launched. So after a rigorous testing, because Indian terrain conditions are very different from all other market, and we had to take care all safety regulation from the Indian government point of view, plus Yamaha global point of view. So this is the outcome which we have made, and now result is here.
Okay, now let's talk about your market share, because I was interested to know that is there any target market share that you have, and across the segments. See, electric two-wheeler is going to be a new space for you. You already have a presence in two-wheelers. You already have a strong presence rather in the 150cc category. So because Yamaha, I think that with media they are interacting with after so many years of gap, so there's a fresh energy indeed.
Yeah.
But with this fresh energy, what sort of a market share are you targeting across the segment?
Of course, as we said, we are targeting the premium segment where we have a very strong presence in R15 MT. This is a space with what we have created. So at this moment, we have a 15% market share already available. But now with the new entry of XSR, we are going to further strengthen this and take it to the next level. Of course, as I said, these are the much awaited product from the customer point of view. So we are expecting now, we are giving very introductory price because based on the customer demand, so that the customer can get at the entry level. First point. Of course, we are also evaluating what kind of their expectation, and then of course our intention is to expand our premium segment market share.
But from 15%, what's the target?
Of course, as I said, definitely we are going to have a targeting around 9,000 to 10,000 vehicles additional which are coming from this XSR. But of course, we have to keep evaluating what customer expect and then how to deliver that. So numbers are numbers, but we have a very strong hope that customer definitely like this and get more enjoyment by using this product.
Indeed, we are sure about that. But before we let you go, it's a big GST bonanza for the two-wheeler industry. And with the kind of offerings today, I believe that the strategy was right there so that the customers can enjoy the GST benefits and the lower tax slab right there. But what are your thoughts on the two-wheeler industry growth? Because you have been in India for the past 40 years, I believe. And you being with Yamaha for so many years now, you have seen all the cycles that we have seen from COVID to a revamp and before that as well. What are your thoughts that how this whole revamp in the two-wheeler industry will take place, and what is the customer liking right now?
As we know, this year was very challenging for complete two-wheeler industry. And that thanks to the GST reforms, because with the kind of a material cost is increasing, vehicle cost is also increasing a lot. But this GST reform has given a big relief for the customer. And then based on, and it comes on the right time before the festival. And we have done a really record-breaking number of 1.1 lakh retail, which is ever we have done in the history of Yamaha. So this is a kind of a very good response we got. But earlier, because I said we are not in a commuter part. It is more of the premium space, but in the premium space, such kind of a relief given to the customer are well accepted, and we are seeing this momentum will continue. Industry will grow in a double digit in next year.
Double digit in next year, because for now the projections are still in single digit with some of your competitors.
Yes. So we are expecting, because the momentum was very good, and then of course we are going to bring more and more excitement to the customer, and economy is on the right track, government policies are on the right track, and it is favoring to the customer. And I think that will also accelerate the momentum.
No, and wish you all the best, and looking forward to the exciting times and the journey of Yamaha yet again in India.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And viewers, you're watching the Motown Show, and today we are covering a very special launch, and that is the comeback of a legend. You are watching Tata Motors Sierra right here on my back. Yes, it's the 2025 that marks the rebirth of this particular legend, and look at the car right now. The car tells you and defines that, yes, of course, from those 1991 edition, the car carries the DNA of Sierra, but it is indeed a futuristic car, because not from the just the outside in terms of the designing, the kind of LED, the alloy wheels and lots more, but even in the interiors you can definitely vouch out that yes, it is indeed a futuristic car. So let's tell you the top features of this Tata Motors new Sierra. So the first is indeed the design, where the retro meets the future. You get a boxy feel in this particular car. Is the full width LED that you get in, alloy wheels, and along with that, it's the panoramic sunroof. Just look at the design language. That's iconic, upright, and completely modern of car. You get a sculpted bonnet, a bold new grille with Sierra branding sitting proudly, and the sporty fog lamps that give the front a very assertive face. Move to the side and the SUV carries its clean, muscular proportions beautifully. Sharp lines, dual-tone alloys, and yes, the expansive sunroof. So let's see what's really inside the car in terms of the interiors. What are the latest offerings? So inside, Tata has taken a big leap. The Sierra features a triple screen setup, one for the driver, one for the center infotainment, and a dedicated screen for the front passenger. It immediately gives the cabin a futuristic, lounge-like feel. The dashboard is wide and minimalistic. Cabin materials feel premium, and you can clearly see the focus on comfort and tech. Ventilated seats, connected features, dual-zone AC, everything placed in a very calming, modern layout. It's genuinely one of Tata's most advanced interiors yet. Yes, definitely the car speaks for itself, and as you can see, it's the 19-inch alloy wheel that the car has in this particular vehicle. The cabin space is actually quite very good, and even the boot space looks quite very spacious. So in terms of the length, the Sierra really impresses. Even though it's a 5-seater, the proportions give you a sense of a much larger, almost 7-seater-like SUV. The long wheelbase and a wide body add that strong stance, and even from outside you can clearly see how airy the cabin feels. A generous second row, a lounge-style openness, and a big boot area that instantly tells you it's made for long family trips. The overall presence is bold, confident, and extremely practical. And this is the back of the car, where you get to see those edges right there. You get to see a Tata logo, and yes, it's the full width LED that is at the back as well. The rear of the Sierra keeps the design clean and confident. Wide surfaces, sharp edges, and a robust tailgate that looks solid and functional. This is the Sierra branding, and the squared rear haunches give it that muscular, planted look. From every angle, front, side or rear, the Sierra carries a very distinctive, modern character that stands out instantly. So joining us today is Tata Motors' creative mastermind, who is leading Tata Motors' new bold design era. Let me welcome Mr. Martin Olarik, who is the Vice President and Global Head Design of Tata Motors. And Martin, so good having you on the channel today. So from 2020, where the first teaser was launched, to 2025, I'm sure the journey must have been exciting. But Martin, let's take it back to 1991, because that's when, Tata Motors as a car was very bold on the Indian roads. So firstly, why don't you help us understand that from 1991 Sierra to this new Sierra, what are some of the common points that you didn't want to touch in this new form?
Yeah, so when we decided to revive this iconic nameplate, I looked at the original car, and obviously as a design, as a product, immediately it was easy to understand. Very simple design, very graphical. But more than anything, everybody I talked to would tell me with a lot of nostalgia, it was such a special car. But with nostalgia, you always remember only the good things. You edit out any negative factors. And then I started to look at car clubs and people who really see this vehicle as a cult car. What was it about the DNA of this original Sierra that made it so iconic? It wasn't so much like the design or the typology. I mean, that had a factor to play, but it was what it represented. Like anything, a movement or a good design, it becomes an avatar. So what did the original Sierra represent? Back then in 1991 in India, what people would tell me, first of all, it stood out on the road. the road was a sea of small cars, hatchbacks, older vehicles, and all of a sudden you had this, SUV, DNA presence from an Indian company. So it was homegrown. So it represented a kind of like, we can do this as well, from an India factor. And it, an SUV always represents a certain lifestyle. It has a certain freedom. So in many ways, it's a platform that I can go anywhere. Anything is possible. And then, like I said, it was a kind of a lifestyle vehicle. It had this very iconic panorama roof. If you sat in the rear of it, it was all glass. So it was a combination of like a practical car, which back then, most vehicles people would buy were because of price and practicality. But in many ways, it was the first lifestyle vehicle in India. And so it already had a DNA. So when we decided to revive it, I mean, we as a company were circling this type of vehicle already for a couple of years. And we had a number of design proposals. And then we had the idea is, what if we took this Sierra DNA and applied it to a new vehicle, capture the spirit of the original, and from an exterior or from a design point of view, I didn't want to make it retro. So it's always forward-looking. The original was forward-looking, so this new one has to be forward-looking as well. In many ways, I'm creating future nostalgia.
Oh, that's great to hear. But in terms of the latest nostalgia that we have, it was then in 2020 where the first car was teased. And even that I remember during those Auto Expo shows, there was so much of excitement about like, yes, Sierra is coming back.
Yes, I mean, we had the idea to revive the name in 2019. Obviously, it takes a couple of months to prepare a concept car, which we showed in 2020. But you will recall, it's a very different design, has different proportions, different design DNA. But the main thing, the main takeaway from that was when we unveiled the car, I remember the car was under a blanket and then somebody was saying like the return of a legend. And the audience, there was this swell of like cheering and everything before the car was even unveiled. I think nobody even remembers the design, to be honest. That's not even important. The main thing was that the name was back. And that gave everybody the confidence that there is actually a currency to revive this name. And then, of course, we went through a whole phase of, different platforms, different design directions. There's a lot of rejected designs. We went down a lot of blind alleys. The car was short, long, wide, different wheelbases, different platforms. And then finally in 2023, we settled on this design direction. And then, of course, to productionize a design, we had the concept in 2023, but as you'll see with the production car, you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference between the concept and the production now. And that was the real work.
All right, but Martin, now let's talk about the futuristic aspects.
Yes.
Like you said, and we have already seen bits and pieces that all you want to have that in. Talk to us about that. What really drove that?
Yeah, I mean, good design is always driven by technology. It's always forward-looking. So for me, it was obviously capturing the iconic, maybe spirit essence, 2 lines on the exterior that describe a Sierra. I should be able to draw the car with 2 lines, and you should be able to identify that it's a Sierra. The litmus test is also, I should be able to take the badges off the car, the Tata badges, but also the Sierra name, the word mark, and I should be able to drive it down the road, and everybody should know what it is, without being told what it is. So design should be pretty self-explanatory. And then from a technology point of view, whether it's the lights, the DRL, it's a single-piece DRL, which is amazing achievement. Not just for Tata, but from a global point of view, benchmarking-wise. I'll bet you there's going to be companies, from China to Europe to North America that are going to be looking at how did they do that. Whether it's the glass, if you look at the rubber seal on the window to achieve this sort of flush look, everything, it should look like a consumer electronic device on 4 wheels. It should look like a digital device that's, an analog SUV. So in many ways, it has to achieve that on the interior, the fit and finish, the coast-to-coast screen, everywhere, the technology has to drive the design forward. It's not just, heritage and retro. It's not just styling, that's for sure.
No, indeed, but even the interiors, I was looking that there's a 3-screen that you
Yes.
are offering,
Yes.
and along with that, so many futuristic features. Why do you think that now is the time wherein Indian customers, or maybe since it's a global launch,
Yes.
what's really driving that futuristic aspects, and what more can be done?
People have a huge appetite for technology. I think sometimes, even a car company can just barely keep up with the pace of change. We're seeing like how technology is coming, every month. And so when we offer a vehicle, the interior, we call it a living room, a living space. Interior design is now an experience. It's no longer just like I'm sitting in a car. Okay, the driver is driving and the other people are going from A to B, but they're spending time in the vehicle. So how are they spending time? You have to offer comfort, you have to offer entertainment. For me, the Sierra is a big part of the glass. It has an unbelievable amount of visual see-through aspect. So it's like the vista, the journey you're on. But then the coast to coast is a digital vista. So it's coast to coast. And it's not just for the driver. Before the screen was for the driver, speed, how much fuel I have, maybe navigation. And then the center screen was still very much driver orientated. So it gave, infotainment information. But now we're going like, well, the other passengers can't be second-class citizens.
But there was also a safety aspect that people
Yes, that's right.
to.
But we found a solution where you can still accommodate the airbags and the clearance and the visibility, but still offer this technology. So, nowadays people are 24/7 digital creatures. So you can't have any disruption even when you're in the vehicle.
So Martin, we are in India, and I can clearly see the XP in talks with so many other players. So help us with the excitement with respect to the Sierra Global Across, and which market do you believe will be the best? Because I can see that the SUV drive in India is indeed in the fast lane. Everybody wants to have an SUV, and especially the excitement about Sierra. But are the people really excited about Sierra as much in the global markets, and which are they?
Definitely. Like you said, I travel a lot. Design is an international business. And the Sierra obviously has been teased, and we've seen it. First, it's being recognized as a benchmark product already. It won the Red Dot Design Award, which is the highest design award that you can win internationally. So that's a recognition from the design community. And I know that from other people in other automotive companies, the Sierra is on most image boards, in their design studios as a reference point. And I know that other companies are looking at the product from an execution point of view. A car of this price to that level of execution, fidelity, quality, and just everything like that. And the other thing is, everybody, if you look now in the automotive industry internationally, it's hard to find a bad car. The level of competition is very high. So the real differentiator is authenticity and emotion. And the Sierra, because it has this identity, it has character, it has a personality, that will cross over any other. It's a capable car, it's a very high-tech product, it's a very well-finished product. That's good, but everybody offers that. So that's the USP of the Sierra, is the spirit and the emotion and the authenticity. And that crosses any border internationally.
No, indeed. But Martin, you only touched on the pricing. I'm sure today is not the day. But can Sierra have an aggressive pricing?
Oh, you'll see on the 25th, I'm sure. You'll be surprised with that.
All right, Martin, so good having you on the channel today. Thank you so much for your time, and all the very best.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure.